Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be doing a solo playthrough of Endeavor Deep Sea. And this will be a playthrough of Mission 10, The Deepest Sea. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I am set up to play Mission 10 of Endeavor Deep Sea, The Deepest Sea. This is a bonus mission. I forgot to call this out last time. There's a little tag right there that says bonus mission. It's on both sides of this mission sheet for Mission 9 as well. I don't know if this comes in the retail box or not. This was like an unlocked stretch goal from the original crowdfunding campaign. So my copy of Endeavor Deep Sea is from that campaign. I did the deluxe box. So I don't know if everyone has missions 9 and 10 or if that was unlocked for all future printings and retail and everything or not. But here it is. And I'm going to be playing this for the first time right now. I have not played this before, which is pretty unusual for me on the channel. I usually like to have some sort of sense of what I'm doing, but let's give this a shot. I do need to shuffle up my setbacks here. While I'm doing this, I do want to thank my coffee supporters. So I'll put the names up on the screen here. So again, the reserve seating section of Table for One is for all of my monthly contributors, because on Coffee, you can decide to contribute monthly or just one time. In either case, you set the amount. It can be as little as $1. And then the Head of the Table award is for my top 10 contributors over the last 90 days. And if you are familiar with Endeavor Deep Sea, you may recognize one of those names in the Head of the Table section. So thank you very much to all of you. All right, here's my deck of bonus goals and setbacks. And I've got my starting vessel here. It's going to launch at the Sea Star. So I gain a disc for that. Yeah, if you're interested in supporting Table for One, you can find a link to the coffee page here. Otherwise, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I do have on pre-order the first expansion for Endeavor Deep Sea, the Uncharted Waters expansion. So once that arrives, I'll put more Endeavor Deep Sea on the channel. In the meantime, I might go back and play some of these other missions more times on the channel. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I had a couple pretty good losses that I'd be interested to revisit myself. But in the Deepest Sea, this mission, what we were trying to do is dive deep. So the setup here, there's 5 columns. We have the Sea Star and the Looking Glass in the middle, and then 2 random Zone 1 tiles that I have not fully set up, so I will come back to that. And then we can have up to 1 more tile on either side. And the depth is 5. And so if we look at the goals here on the board, I'll talk about what's going on here in a second. But the points goal for impact is just to have 30 or more points. And I said that very casually, but 30 is a lot of points. The 3 goals here are this one is this goal number 1, discover the bottom. You need to discover your first depth 5 zone achieved by round 4. So that seems pretty quick to me. Then we have reach the floor for co-op and solo play. For solo specifically, we need to travel to the first. We need to travel to a depth 5 zone with a vessel by the end, achieved by round 5. I've got to imagine that's the end of round 5. And then this last goal here, goal number 3, journal the abyss. For solo, we want to have 6 or more journal discs at depths 4 and 5. So I'm not going to worry too much about points. I'm just going to try and focus on these 3 things as hard as possible, kind of regardless of the other bonus goals, and just see what I can do, because I have a hard time getting down to those depths. I'm not that good at this game. I just like it quite a bit. What else? So I've got to set up these zones. This Orca reintroduction zone tile here is one of the promo, one of the mini expansion promo tiles. So I've got to put the Orca meeples on, and I can show you those up close for the first time now because I've got this green screen rig. So these look really great, and they're double-sided. I always appreciate that. So we're going to put those here. And the other zone here, we have the kelp forest, so we need to put 4 dive tokens on it. So here are 4 dive tokens. As a reminder, I use blanks. These are 3D printed plastic blanks that come from the Etsy store I co-own. That's Brain Bucket Games. There's a link in the description. And then whenever I earn one of those dive tokens, then I draw a cardboard one out of this custom draw bag. So that's where all the actual dive tokens from the game are stored. And if you've watched this a number of times, you may notice that the color's a little different. We actually just updated this. So I've got one more set of the slightly darker ones to sell, and then this is what we'll be selling going forward. And zoom in here, the green screen would just absolutely eat this up. But it's actually a really nice like aqua color here. But now we've also got this fun like ocean wave pattern on the back of all of them too, which is kind of neat. We didn't have that before. So there you go. Those are the dive tokens that I'm using. And for reference, they do fit in the box, which is really nice. They all fit there. So if that's something you're interested in, again, you can find that at Brain Bucket Games, link in the description. But I think I'm ready to get going now. My strategy at first is just going to be to sonar as much as possible. I think that's going to be helpful, and I will use the discovery bonuses to try and advance on my tracks. And then I wasn't too thrilled with the two random depth 1 tiles that I drew, because this one is really good for conserving, and this one's got a bunch of conservation, or it's got a few conservation actions on it, but I really wanted sonar. I wanted a lot of sonar action. So I'll probably stick to the sea star and the looking glass, and I'll probably start off by sonaring the sea star, these two depth 2 places. I don't know if I'll complete it and do the depth 1. Luckily, the journal spaces that are available match the journals that I drew here. So I might like to quickly grab this journal to double advance my ingenuity track so I can get another vessel out and get down to depth 2 where I can start sonaring some more. And then before I get going, I realized I never explained what's going on here. So you place your impact marker depending on the depth where you earned it. So whatever depth you earned it at, like if you earned it by, you got an impact from a conservation action at depth 3, well, then you put it on depth 3 and you just start from the left and you keep going to the right. And so these yellow spaces are worth 1 point each. The orange spaces are worth 2 points each. And there's an infinite amount of oranges here. And then the pink spaces are worth 3 points each. And then in small text here, it says, if you ever gain impact from somewhere other than a tile that's a certain depth, then place it at any depth where you have a vessel. So I think that's all you need to know. I'm pretty sure I said that the sea star is the launch zone. So let's get started with the first round, and that's going to start with drawing my first bonus goal. And that is synergistic, zones with at least one disc or vessel. So for solo, that is going to be 11 zones. I'm not going to push real hard for that. My focus is going to be strictly on these 3 things here. So now I can recruit a specialist from the first tier. And so that is definitely going to be the sonar operator. So that is the action that I want to be taking. And so her immediate bonus is to move up on the coordination track. Then my inspiration track says I get 1 disc. So that comes here from the supply. Coordination track says I can retrieve 1 disc. So that will come off of the team leader where it starts. And now I can begin taking actions. And so I will start with a sonar action using my sonar operator. So I place a disc on her. Place a disc on a sonar space where I have a vessel. That's going to be right there. I've got to sonar at depths 1 or 2. I'm going to do depth 2. So grab the top 2 zones off the stack. A lot of conserving and then a lot of sonaring, which is what I want. So I'm taking resupply modules. I think that's definitely the way to go. And so do I want to put it here or here? I think, that gets me an orca. That gets me, for the where I land my vessel, that would get me a inspiration. I like the dive tokens there. Like I'm not really trying to conserve, so I don't know that I want to interact with the orcas much. So I'm going to put this resupply module here. And the discovery bonus is 1 coordination. So that's in the second tier now, and 1 ingenuity, which is really good. And so I've got 1 more disc left. I'm going to place that on my team leader. Knowing that I've got 2 coordination, I'll get both of these discs back, and I'm going to go ahead and dive. So I remove 1 of these blank dive tokens and draw 1 from the bag. And we get, what is this? Either 3 research or a disc. And those are both good options. I think I'm just going to hold on to this for now. I will decide later. So there's nothing else I can do. That is the end of round 1. Now let's start round 2. So again, we reveal a bonus goal, and let me make use of my green screen. I forgot about that. We have resourceful. So we want the coordination and ingenuity tracks on solo mode to reach a total of 22. And so as a reminder, on the player board here, there are little numbers in the top right corner of each box, and the last three here are 10, 11, and 12. So from these two tracks, we're going to add them up, and we want them to add up to at least 22. So that could be two 11s, or a 12 and a 10, or anything higher. And those are definitely tracks I want to push anyway, and they're the only two I've moved so far, so I think that's a good goal to have. And now I can recruit another specialist. And I think I'm going to go with the reef diver. I thought about really all three. I don't think I need two sonar operators yet, and I think, the pilot gives me an impact, and I only have a vessel at zone 1. I wouldn't mind maybe next turn trying to get an impact and having a vessel in zone 2 if possible, so that I can get that reward. I don't know if that's going to happen that quick, but I'm going to take the reef diver, recruit the reef diver, and now my reputation goes up 1. Now my inspiration track says I gain 1 disc. Coordination says I recover 2 discs. Boy, I don't have that many discs actually. So I can start taking actions. Man, and I've got some interesting choices here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend this dive token to gain 3 research. Okay, so I'll put my spent ones maybe up here, maybe over here somewhere. Okay, I've got 3 research. Now I'm going to use my team leader to journal. And which spot do I want to put it on? I think the brown spot. And I'm going to get this journal here, which costs 3 research. So there goes my research. But now I gain 2 inspiration. So I get that into the next tier, and I can promote a specialist, and I'll promote the reef diver to get another reputation. So that goes up to tier 2. So now that's an underwater photographer. So this is done. I'll just place it here, draw a new journal. Okay. And then what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to dive again. So we'll use the underwater photographer to take another dive token. So one of these, and we'll get a token out of the bag. And that gets us, let me show you here, either 3 research, or we can conserve for 1 less research. I don't think I've got much interest in the conserving. So I'm just going to go ahead and spend it. Well, it doesn't get me anything now either. I guess I'll hold on to it just in case, but I'll probably treat this just as 3 research. So I'm out of discs. I can't do anything else, or I'm not going to do anything with this dive token. So that is it for round 2. We now go into round 3, and I'm already feeling some pressure because I need to discover a depth 5 zone by the end of round 4. Yikes. Let's start by drawing the last bonus goal, and we have scholarly. Leftover research, we need 6 or more. What does that say? Research on leftover dive tokens does count. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. For a second, I thought I read does not, and I was shocked. That's a good one to get too. So resourceful and scholarly are really great. Synergistic's okay depending on the circumstances. I don't think it really helps me that much this time, but now I can recruit a specialist, and there's 2 I'm really looking at. There's the marine engineer and there's the navigator. The navigator is more obvious, just the actions are move and sonar. That would be great actions for me. The marine engineer, though, I would immediately get a 2 ingenuity bump. I don't know if I want to say bump or boost. I said boom. I would go up twice on the ingenuity track, and that would get me a new vessel, which would go to the launch zone, get me another disc, and then I might spend this dive token to gain 3 research. Research probably this one for 2, which would bump me 2 more times on the ingenuity track and promote a specialist, and I'd promote them to then be able to use actions, and they could move or journal. And I guess that ingenuity track is going to be really important for me. So let's do that. Let's gain this marine engineer. That's who we're recruiting. So now I go up twice on the ingenuity track. 1, 2. That gains me my 2nd vessel. So I put that in the launch zone and gain the arrival bonus, which is 1 disc. Now, my inspiration track says I gain 2 discs, 1, 2, and then my coordination track says I recover 2 discs. So we're in decent shape. Now let's execute the other stuff that I said I was going to do. Let's spend this dive token for 3 research, And then we will use that research to journal with my team leader. And we will, oh, that's brown. I already used the brown spot. Should have used the yellow spot. Well, I can still do this one or this one. And either of those will allow me to, whatever this is, promote the specialist. But yeah, that was a significant oversight. So do I still want to journal? Might want to wait to grab this one. I don't know that I need the reputation or the coordination, really. Not those specific quantities at this juncture, anyway. Well, you know what? We'll still journal. We'll still do it. So we're going to take that journal spot. I'm going to take this one, which costs 3. So I go back down to 0. And that gives me a coordination. That's fine. I can promote a specialist. I'll still promote the marine engineer to get actions. She's a naval architect now. Place this here, and now I do have this bonus move action, which can let me travel as if my ingenuity was 1 higher. So that could help me with this goal of actually getting to a depth 5 zone maybe a little sooner than I normally could. Let's replace the journal. Ooh, look at that. I wish that was out a minute ago. That's okay. So I did that. Okay, so now I'm going to use my naval architect to move, since she can do that. I'm going to move a distance of 2 to a depth of 2 because I have 2 ingenuity. So I can do that. And the arrival bonus is another disc. So that's good. Now I will have my sonar operator operate some sonar. And I want to do this track here, depth 1 to 3. And I'm going to do depth 3. And I believe the discovery bonuses get better as the depth goes further down. Okay. And I think in every way I want vortex except for the discovery bonus. So this one's 2 ingenuity, which is great, but this is an ingenuity and a coordination. And I would really like my coordination to go up 1 more time. That would be good. But there's a couple good things going on here at the vortex. One, this track only has 2 spaces on it, and the second space allows me to do depth 4 or higher, so that is really nice. And then whenever you travel away from this zone, you can travel as if your ingenuity track was 1 higher, so that's really helpful. It's just like this travel action, but it's every time you leave this zone. And I think most important, when you do this sonar action here, you can place a depth 3 zone even if there's no depth 1 or 2 above it. So that can help me expand the map just at the lower levels, and that is very helpful. So I've got to go with the vortex, I think. And now it's just a question of which of these 2 spaces would I prefer. And I guess I'd rather have it in the middle, more centralized, since it's got these movement bonuses. So we'll put it there. Discovery bonus, gain 2 ingenuity. So now I can go down to depth 3 or 3 spaces at a time. And I do have 1 disc left. So I could place it on my underwater photographer and have them dive again. So the question is just based off of my inspiration track and my coordination track, would I rather get a dive token now, or would I rather save this disc to hopefully do more sonaring later? And you know what? I think I'll go ahead and dive. Let's do it. Let's spend the token, or spend the disc rather, to gain a dive token. There's only 1 more left on the Sea Star, and we get either 4 research or promote a specialist. Oh, that is very handy. Well, let's spend it right now. I'm going to promote a specialist. That's what I want to do. I'm going to promote this sonar operator, so this disc goes back to my supply. But now they flip over, and I gain that 1 coordination that I was wanting. And I now have an acoustics engineer who can move over sonar. That's great. So, all right, that turned out okay. So we're at the end of round 3. I've got nothing else I can do. I just do want to point this out again. So this says discover the bottom, achieved by round 4, and I've got to imagine that means by the end of round 4. I can't figure out how somebody would have discovered a depth 5 zone at this point. I've got my work cut out for me already just to do it by the end of next round. So I think I'm interpreting that correctly. But maybe if Carl or Jarrett's watching this video, you can chime in the comments, because I know you've both been to the channel before. All right, so let's start round 4, and now I need to draw my first setback. So let's see what that's going to be. I have got funding shortage. Each player chooses one. Reduce your lowest attribute by 2. So for me, let me move this up. That would be either my reputation or my inspiration. I definitely don't want to do that for inspiration. Or flip a senior specialist to its junior side. Do not gain any immediate bonuses. If there was a disc, return the disc to your supply. I always, or nearly always, I think I always choose that bottom option, and I will do it again here. I'm going to choose the acoustic engineer so I don't lose a disc. We don't gain this bonus again, but I really just, it was nice that they had the ability to travel as well on the senior side, but I really just want them to be sonaring, and now I've got the opportunity to gain another coordination if I promote them later. So as far as setbacks go, that one is not too bad. So now I can recruit a specialist from tier 1 or 2, and I will now choose the navigator. So I gain 1 advance on my inspiration track, which doesn't have any immediate effect, but it's still good. And then the navigator can move or sonar, just like the promoted sonar operator could. And I'll probably use them to sonar as well. So now that I've recruited, inspiration track says I gain 2 discs. Coordination track says I can recover 3 discs, and I have exactly 3. All right, so now I have 5 discs at my disposal. And so how can I use these specialists and these 5 discs to discover a depth 5 zone this round? Actually, lucky me, that is very doable. I will start with my sonar operator. I will have her sonar here. So we're going to place the disc here. That created this link bonus, so I gain a new disc. That is very handy. And I can now sonar at depth 3 or higher, so I will do depth 4. And we've got 2 zones here, the bioluminescent fauna or the seamount. And both of these zones have dive tokens that give you bonuses, but then this one's got a bunch of conservation, and I don't think I'm going to utilize that. I think I will use these bonuses, especially this one. Dive and gain a disc is really nice. I'm going to go with bioluminescent fauna. And so the discovery bonus is going to be 2 inspiration, 1, 2. So that's up to the next tier. And I need to put these 6 dive tokens here. So here they are, 3 and 3. And I gain 1 impact marker. And here's kind of a fuzzy rules question. So again, the impact board says, place the impact marker on the track corresponding to the depth of the zone where you earned it. Would you say that I earned this impact marker here at depth 4? Or because I'm taking the sonar action at depth 2, did I earn it at depth 2? Which track do I place it on? And so I just looked it up on Board Game Geek and found an answer from one of the game's designers, so I'll just read it to you. It says, if the chain of events from an action creates impact for any player, and that action occurred in a zone, then all players use the depth of the zone. So this zone that gives me an impact was discovered because of an action I took here. So the action occurred at depth 2, so I'm going to put this on the depth 2 track, which is going to advance me on 1 track of my choice. And I don't have any track I can boost to get into another tier. So I think I'm going to go with coordination, because coordination, really these 3 are the important ones right now. Reputation is not doing much for me. I'm doing okay on ingenuity. I'll need to get into tier 4 sometime next round, but I've got a little time, and I can do that if I'm really desperate. I can just recruit another what is a specialist called? Marine engineer. If I'm desperate, I can do that. So between inspiration and coordination, I think coordination is going to be more important. So I'm going to bump that track. So that is it for that sonar action. Now I can take more actions, and I will have this navigator perform a sonar action in the same zone here, and I will go on this track again. So depth 3 or deeper. So I'm going to go to depth 5, and that will accomplish this first goal here. But let's look at what's here. We've got Abyssal Plain and Abyssal Trench, and I really like this one. It lets you put more depth 5 zones without having anything above them, so you can really just go along the bottom here. This one is cool too, and I like that this one would bump all 3 of these tracks, which would be nice. But when you arrive here, the arrival bonus is to sonar here, but it can only have one vessel. Or let me rephrase that, one per player, but I'm playing a solo game. So in order for me to like advance this track a lot, I have to just keep leaving and coming back, and that would not be very efficient. That's better for multiplayer. So I'm going to take Abyssal Plain, which has the arrival bonus of advance any track, and that's still pretty nice. So we are going to put this here. Discovery bonus is 1 inspiration, 1 ingenuity, and 1 disc. So that's pretty great. And I'm just going to throw a dive token here to indicate that I did achieve this by the end of round 4. So 1 goal accomplished. Let's see if I can manage to accomplish any others. And I think for my next action, I'm going to have this naval architect. Oh, I was going to have her move, but I'm going to move here using mobile techniques. Wait a minute, I need to think about this. I wanted to move from the launch zone down to bioluminescent fauna, which would bump my ingenuity, get me into tier 4, but I need to be in tier 4 in order to get there. Well, my thinking was I would get there, bump this, get another vessel, which would launch, give me another disc, dive, which would give me another disc here, and then I'd have a lot of discs, and that is generally a good thing. But if I use this action to come here, then that'll get me to tier 4, and then I'll need to get a vessel here to be able to get here by the end of next round. So it's just a lot of like extra movement actions. I don't know if that makes sense. I'd be better off trying to do something that would get me some ingenuity now. So really my options are I could dive at the sea star and then with whatever token I get, gain some research, and then I could maybe do a movement action to come here. And I wouldn't have enough discs left, likely, but I could start the next turn by researching on this space to get this, which would give me more ingenuity so that I could then move using this on the next turn. So that's one route. I don't love it, but it's fine. And then another route would be to just sonar again now, I guess using my team leader here, and this get a 1 to 3, probably do... I don't know, I guess do a depth 2 here, or a depth 3 here. Hope that I get a decent bonus. Maybe I get an ingenuity, which would be great. But if not, I'll have 1 disc left over, and I could sonar here next round to bump my ingenuity twice that way. That would give me another vessel, and then I could travel again using this card next round. And so I think I'm going to go with that second option, because I think the likelihood is that my discovery bonus on a depth 3 zone is probably, the chances are better of getting something good there versus grabbing a dive token and trying to journal here later. So I hope that made some sense. I'm going to use my team leader to sonar here. Oh, that does give me a reputation. Not that really matters. And then because that's the link bonus, and then I can sonar at depths 1 to 3. So we're going depth 3. Got Jellyfish Bloom and Deepwater Shark. And the discovery bonus here is 2 coordination or 1 inspiration, 1 ingenuity. And that's an interesting choice the way my tracks are right now, but I think I really, really want that ingenuity. So that's what I'm going with. So I've got the Deepwater Shark. That's going to go here. Gain 1 inspiration, 1 ingenuity, which gets me another vessel. And so the vessel goes to the launch zone. And that gets me a disc. So that's very helpful. And then I place 5 dive tokens here. I don't expect I'll be going there and really doing any diving, but there you go. And now I have 2 discs left. That's pretty cool. And it is just occurring to me now, I kind of ignored this bottom goal here. I need to get 6 journals at depths 4 and 5 by the end of the game. I don't really have, well, I guess I do have a couple ways to journal. That was lucky. That was not planning, but I don't have any journal locations down here. So I guess I'm going to have to do some more sonaring to remedy that. So maybe I'll just start getting myself into position. I'm going to have my naval architect do a move. And I will come down here to the vortex. That gains me 1 reputation. And I think I'm just going to leave it there for now. I've got 1 disc left. I could dive with my underwater photographer there at the Sea Star, but I think I'm just going to hold on to the disc. So that is the end of round 4, and we're going into round 5 now. So we start with another setback. And we get Exhaustion. Each player returns one disc of their own from a conservation site of their choice to the staging area. So I've made my opinion on that card well known by now. Looking forward to the Uncharted Waters expansion to see what that does. And so now, luckily, I didn't do any conserving, is the point, though. And so I don't have to return any discs because I don't have any. So now I can recruit a specialist from tiers 1, 2, or 3. And I can't read this person's job title, but I can read the icons and they look real good. Sonar and journal sounds real helpful. This is a field researcher. So I will take a field researcher. I don't get any immediate bonuses though, which is a little bit of a bummer. But then inspiration says I gain 4 discs. And in that process, I got my actual setback for the round, which was dump all the discs on the floor and then pick them up. So I've got my discs. Now I recover 3 discs. There are 4 of them here. So I've got to choose which ones I want. I definitely want the team leader. I'll put it here so I don't forget. What are the other 2 that I'm going to take? I think it's going to be move or sonar. And do I want sonar or do I want move or journal? I'm not ready to journal yet. I need to journal, but I don't have places to do it. I need to get the places first. I'm going to take sonar. So hopefully that was a decent decision, even though my sonar operator could get promoted and the naval architect can't. So that's something to consider, but I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth on it too much. So let's start taking some turns. I don't think I really need to do anything up at the Sea Star anymore. That's the only place I can dive right now, but I think I'm going to move that vessel using this action so I get 1 extra technology on my ingenuity track. So I can move to depth 5 and I can move up to 5 spaces. There we go. Just for that 1 action only. So now I have traveled to a depth 5 zone by the end of round 5. So that's a success. Let's mark it. And my arrival bonus is to advance on any 1 track. And I'm actually going to go with coordination. I think I need to get that one up again, but ingenuity is important too, because I can get some more depth 5 zones here without having anything above them, but I can't go to them until I get my ingenuity up into the next tier. So that's something to consider. Yeah, those bonuses can be pretty good though. So I think I'm probably going to discover a couple more 5s, and I think I'm going to go this way. And then I do have the option to use this depth 3 on Vortex to put a depth 3 here, use this 3 or above to put a 4 below it. And then I could potentially get to this 4 or above and put another depth 5 zone here. That would be kind of disconnected from those. Maybe I want to go here and here. Okay, that's sort of some kind of plan. So I'm going to prioritize depth 5 zones right now because I think that the discovery bonuses will be better than depth 4, but I'm really looking for journal actions because that's my focus at this point. So it's hard to tell that my focus is journal actions based off my research track, but here we go. I'm going to start with the sonar operator. We'll do a sonar action here. Depth 5. And I don't need a depth 4 zone or anything above it to place it. We're looking for journal. This is all conservation at the seafloor restoration, whereas Whale Fall has a couple of journal spaces. So I'm going to go with Whale Fall. And I will put that here, I suppose. So I gain 1 inspiration, 2 coordination. That's my discovery bonus, and that's it. And I'm trying to decide if it'd be worth it to use a move action from either the navigator or my team leader to move this vessel from the vortex, get 1 extra movement ability to come to Whale Fall, so I can get down to depth 5 again. And then I could use this field researcher to both journal here and sonar. Although it occurs to me to journal, I'm needing research. I don't have any research. So that's not a very good plan. Let me just do some regular sonaring elsewhere. And you know what? This is what we'll do. We will have this navigator sonar up here in this spot, gain 2 ingenuity. 1, 2, and that's it. And then we'll have the team leader also sonar up here. We get the link bonus, which is another disc. So I take that, and then I can sonar at depth 3 or above. I'm going to do depth 4 for this spot right here. Fill that in. Depth 4 is probably still going to have some good bonuses. And hopefully some journals. Yeah, 3 journal actions here. That's really good. So what would that be? A reputation, an ingenuity, and a research versus 2 reputation, a research, and some dive tokens to place. I think it's got to be the Sponge Gardens. So I will place that here. Gain the reputation, the ingenuity. That's really important. That gets me an impact, and that comes from a track, and then a research. So if I go back to that same Board Game Geek post, there's another portion of it that describes when do you, when do you choose a depth where you have a vessel to just determine where you place your impact on the board. And he said, you choose a vessel when you can't determine where the impact came from. This will usually be because of a track bump or impact from gaining a specialist or from spending a dive token, as they are their own actions. So track bump is called out specifically. So I can put this on tier 2, 3, or 5. And so 5 is worth points, but I'm not too worried about the points. I'm going to go to tier 3 so I can choose any track that I want and bump it. And I'm going to do coordination. So we're real close on coordination now. But now that ingenuity is at tier 5, I can travel to any depth that I want. And I really don't need this vessel here anymore because that zone is complete. So I probably want to move the vessel and get ready to start journaling. So I need 6 journals at depth 4 or 5 by the end of the game. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. I've still got to find at least one more journal space. But the only actions left to me are dive, and I'm not on any dive locations, or journal, and I'm not on any journal locations. And then field researcher can journal and sonar, and I won't be able to journal, but I can try and sonar. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in a spot where I can't move, and I would like to move. And so I might be better off just holding on to these discs rather than inefficiently using my field researcher and not being able to get the disc back off them later, potentially. So yeah, I'm just going to end the round here. We're going into round 6 now. We start with a setback, and we have protected waters. It's a little bit blurry. There we go. Find the depth 3 zone that contains the most discs. If tied, choose one. Return all the discs there to the owner's staging areas. Set aside any vessels. Discard the zone. Replace it with the top zone from the depth 3 stack. Place any set aside vessels into the new zone. You don't gain the arrival bonus on that, by the way. So neither of these has any discs on it. So I can choose, and I'm going to choose to replace Deepwater Shark because I didn't really have any intention of going there. I just took it for the discovery bonus at the time. So we're going to replace this with whatever's on the top of the stack. And it is thermal vents. That's got a couple of journal spaces, but I need depth 4 and 5 for journaling. So that's okay. And we put 4 dive tokens there. So that setback definitely could have been worse. Now I recruit a specialist from tiers 1 through 3, and I'm going with the marine biologist because they can conserve or journal. I don't really intend on having them conserve, but journaling is going to become important. They also give me 2 inspiration, which will get me into the next tier along with an impact marker. And so again, I look where I have vessels. It's depths 2, 3, and 5. So I can choose track 2, 3, or 5. So do I want points, reputation, or more inspiration? I guess it would be reputation with those options. Okay. Now, that was just this bonus. Now I can gain my 5 discs from my inspiration track. That's huge. So I've got a lot of discs. That's good. That's important. And now I can retrieve 4 discs. And look, I've got exactly 4 out there. So that worked out pretty well. I've got a lot of discs available and 2 rounds to play. So I'm in decent shape to sort of make an attempt at Journal the Abyss. The only thing I haven't figured out is where in the world am I going to get any research? And on top of that, this leftover research goal is going to be really difficult, but I think I've got resourceful pretty much taken care of. I think synergistic is a lost cause. I have a disc or vessel in 11 or more zones. There are exactly 11 zones on the map, so I don't see that happening. It just doesn't look like it. I'm really concentrated in a couple zones, so I'm not going to work too hard for that. But Let's get started now. And you know what? I really wish I had the actions of this ROV operator. I want to move and dive if I could. So I'd like to move a vessel here, dive here, which gives me a research. That would be really useful. It's a spot that I probably want to spam a little bit. But what I think I'll do is I'll start with my navigator and I will have them just take a move action. And I'm going to move out of here because there's nothing else I can do there. We're going to go to here. The arrival bonus is 2 research. That's really helpful. So I'm up to 3 research now. And for my next action, I will now activate the field researcher who can sonar and journal. So I will start with the sonar, and I'm going to do that here. So that's got to be depth 5, but it doesn't have to have anything above it, which is really nice. So we've got the black smoker and the scaly foot snails. And wow, either of these could be really useful. So there's 3 journal spots here. When you dive here, you may journal in one of these zones. And then this one, when you dive here, you may move, but not to a depth 5. You've got to go to another depth. Like, I don't know, either of these depth 4 zones, which are really good. So this is really interesting. But a combo dive journal is really nice because you dive, you get the research, and then do the journal. So I think I'm going to go with scaly foot snails, even though I was happy with both those options, really. And I will put this one over here. I don't have to have anything above it. So we'll go here. My discovery bonus is, we'll go out of order, 2 ingenuity and 1 coordination, which gets me an impact. And that impact came from the board, so I can do that on track 3, 4, or 5, any of these. And let's do track 3 to gain that immediate research. So I'm up to 4 research, and then I need to place 3 dive tokens here. So here we go. That looks like a pretty great spot. And that was this sonar action. Now I can still take a journal action. Oh man, and this is going to work out really well. I'm going to journal right here on this brown space where I've got a vessel and take this one here, which costs me 2 research, 1, 2, and I gain 2 ingenuity, 1, 2, because it loops back around, gives me another impact, which comes from my player board, so I can place it at depths 3, 4, or 5, or track 3, 4, or 5. Let's go track 3 again, get another research. Great. So I gain that, and I can promote a specialist. Watch this. I'm going to promote the field researcher, making them available again, and their new ability is to move and journal. So I lose that disc, it goes back to the supply, and I've got to replace that journal. Okay, here's a new one to impact. Oh man, look at that. Okay, so I don't need to be here anymore. I've done everything I can do there. So I'm going to have my new marine scientist go again. I'm going to place a disc on them. It can move and then journal in either order. But I'm going to move first. I'm going to move from here to here. The arrival bonus is to gain a disc. Oh, wait a minute, though. I wanted to dive, not journal from there. Let me think about that. Maybe that's not what I'll do. Well, okay. No, I'll still do that. I'll just do it a little differently than I thought. Place the disc there. Move. I'll move this vessel to here, gain a disc, and then I can journal, and I don't have to journal here. I can journal here, which means I can get any of these 3, and it's definitely going to be this one. So I need to place a disc here in this green space. I get a link bonus, which is an impact, and that comes from depth 4. So that's got to go on this depth 4 track, which is fine because there's research there. If I can get to it, it's worth a few points for me. This makes me go up on reputation, and I can promote a specialist. I'm going to promote this navigator, who now has a dive sonar combo action, which is great. And then I've got the option here to promote somebody as well. So now we replace this journal, and we've got 1, 2 journals at depth 4 and 5. We're aiming for 6. I think I want to get this last one here and then all 3 of these. I think that's my goal. Ooh, but I didn't pay for this yet. There's no way. I'm sure I'm at 0. Okay, there we go. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to hope I get some research somehow because I'm going to use this newly minted hydrographer to sonar and dive. And I'm going to sonar first. I'm going to sonar here using this spot to do a depth 3 without anything above it. So I intend to put it here, and then I can work my way down to maybe another 4 and 5. So we've got Carbonate Spires and Coldwater Reef. Neither of those will get me any research. I guess there's a research arrival bonus on this one if I go there, and the 2 reputation is probably more useful than the 2 inspiration at this point. So I'll do Carbonate Spires. I'll put it right there. And so I gain my bonus, 1, 2 reputation, fine. Now I can dive. I will dive here. So I remove one of these blank dive tokens, and I'm going to draw a new token from the bag. Oh, I guess it's that one, the one that fell out. Either a move action or 3 research. Well, I'm going to need that research pretty desperately because I just dived, and that means I can journal here, and I have no research. So I'm going to take the 3 research. That's what I want. And now I can do, what is this, blue, yellow, or brown. They've all got yellow, and 2 of them have blue. But this one costs 4, so I can't afford it. It's got to be one of these 2. And I don't have any tricks up my sleeve with any more promotions. So I think I'm going to go with this one because it costs less than this one. And I'm low on research. I'm trying to journal a lot. So I'm going to take this one. It costs 2. I've paid for it. Gain the journal. It's worth 2 points at the end. I gain 2 ingenuity, 1, 2. So that is looped back around. I get another impact marker. And again, it's from the board. So I can choose depths 3, 4, or 5. Which of these tracks do I want to do? Probably track 3. Because that'll get me another research. So I'm up to 2 research again. So I've got 1, 2, and I didn't place that disc. I do need to do that. It was either yellow or blue, and I've got a lot more yellow options than blue. So let's put it on blue here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 journal discs at depth 4 and 5 right now. That's pretty good. I need 3 more. Replace the journal, green journal type. That one doesn't help me. Oh man, the cost is only 1. I would like to find a green journal space at depth 4 maybe, because that is nice and cheap. But I've still got 3 discs left. What other actions might I be able to take? And man, I would really like to have my marine biologist journal here, grab this, but it's too expensive. I can't afford it. But if I could get it, I would get a disc and another research. And with that extra disc, I would be able to dive and journal here again. But I just don't have any way to occupy that space. So I think I just need to dive and journal here, and I'll have 1 disc left over. So I will have my underwater photographer do this. They can dive or journal. I'm going to have them dive here, which lets them then journal. So I take away the dive token and draw another one. I don't think there's a dive token in here that gives you like 12 research, but if there is, I'd like to draw it. This one's got, 4 research or a bump on any track. I don't need the tracks. I need the research. I will take 4 research right away. So I go from 2 to 6. That is very helpful. And now, because I did a dive action here, I can journal in one of these 2 spots, brown or yellow. So any of these 3, I can afford all of them, but only this one can go here. So I'd like to leave that open. If I take one of these, if I do this, then I can still afford that. That's great. I'll be a disc short from doing it this round, but I should be able to do it next round, no problem. So I'll take this one. It's going to cost me 2. I go from 6 to 4, and I go up 1 on reputation, which gets me an inspiration. And that came from my track, so I can put it anywhere, or at least 3, 4, or 5. So let's keep getting research while we can. We'll fill up that track. And there's an infinite spot there. That's kind of nice, but get 1 research there. And then I can promote a specialist. But if I promote the marine biologist, then they lose the ability to journal. And that doesn't really help me much. They can only double conserve. I don't need that in this mission. So my only other option is a sonar operator. I'll get 1 coordination and they gain the ability to move. And I guess that's helpful. So that's the second time they've been promoted. Let's not get demoted again. We'll place this here. I need to place a journal down, or a disc, to show that I took that journal action right there, and draw the next journal. I need, man, I can't do that brown one. I don't have a brown journal out. So hopefully when I do this here, a brown one will come out and I can finish it next time. But I'm in good shape for this actually. And I'll definitely get resourceful. I should be able to get scholarly at this rate. Synergistic's not going to happen. I don't think I'm going to get 30 points, but let's see what I can do with another round. So I've got 1 disc left. Is there anything valuable I can do with it? I mean, probably, but I don't think it's imperative I do something now. I think I've got time to wait until next round. I'm doing okay. Let me make a little more room here with my journals. Just running out of space. Okay. I'm doing better than I thought I would. So we're going into the last round now, and I need to start by drawing the final setback. And we have government intervention. All players, return one disc from a depth 1 or depth 2 zone of their choice to their supply. All right. In this case, that's not really a big deal for me. I'm going to take, I don't know, this one here with synergistic. Like that doesn't matter at all. Or, you know what, maybe I'll take the other one. There is a like 0 chance, but like a very, very slim chance. I could go there. I could take the sonar action to get another zone here, another depth 4 zone, and gain a disc out of it. And the arrival bonus there is a disc. So it's not impossible that I would choose to do that, but I don't really see myself doing that. So that was a setback. Now I can recruit any one specialist I want because I'm in the top tier. And I should probably go for tier 5 to get some sort of scoring ability. And I think I'm going to go with this mentor. Because they can either journal, which is helpful, or promote someone. I've got this promote here. Which I'd probably use to promote them. I'm planning on doing more journaling. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to journal at least twice more. So I'll probably promote this marine biologist just because, and then the mentor as well. And the scoring condition is 1 point for each senior specialist other than this one. So that could get me 6 other points at the end of the game. And get me closer to 30. I'm nowhere near 30 now. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then that would give me another 6. It'd be like 15. I'd be halfway there, but might as well make the effort. So, all right, we go up twice on coordination, which loops me back around. I get an impact, and I guess I'll do depth 5 on this one. Let's go for points. See what happens. So I place my specialist here, my tier 5 specialists, which are all unique. Don't forget, that's pretty cool. Now, inspiration says I gain 5 discs. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And coordination says I recover 5 discs, and I've only got 4 out there. So maybe it would have been more efficient, that 1 disc I had left over, if I had used it to just move something, because it would have come back anyway, and that move would have gotten me something. I don't know that it would have been something very good, but something instead of nothing. But here we are. So here's my discs. I was going to say lesson learned, but I probably didn't learn anything. I'd probably make that mistake again. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can do a couple more journals. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to have my marine scientist. They can move and journal. I'm going to journal first. I'm going to journal here at the Sponge Gardens, this blue one. So I need to mark it. That creates a link bonus that gains me a disc and a research. So here's the research. Here's the disc. I probably need to be able to pay for this before I gain that research, but I've got enough, so that's fine. Just pointing it out. So that was a blue one. So I've got to take this one, which costs 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 2 research left. So I gain this. That's another couple points at the end of the game. And I gain 2 impact and 1 ingenuity. Here's the ingenuity. Here's the 2 impact. I think this is probably similar to the tracks, like it's coming from the card. But just to be safe, I'll say that it came from this zone, so I won't get to choose. It'll just come from depth 4. So I'll place 1 here and 1 here, gain a research from that, and then I replace the journal. Oh, no brown one. So that's not going to work. So that was my journal action. Now I also get a move action. I am going to move to, I was going to move to here so that I had dive actions available, but let me think about this. I can move somewhere. I'm going to do this so I don't forget that I can move. What journals are available? 2 green, 2 yellow, a blue. So this has got to be the spot. I've got to go there and do that journal. So, okay, I will move to here. That gets me an inspiration as my arrival bonus, and that's it for the marine scientist. So next up, I'll use my marine biologist. They can conserve or journal. I'm going to have them journal, and they're going to do it here in this yellow spot. And so one of these 2, they cost 3 either way. I have 3, so let's spend it. Would I rather gain the impact or gain the 2 points for the end of the game? Let's go for the points. Let's see what happens. So we replace that journal now. And what else? 2 points, go up 1 on reputation and promote somebody. And so I'll promote this marine biologist. I don't really need them to do anything anymore, but that disc comes off of them at least. Now everyone's promoted but my mentor, who I'd like to promote for the points, because I think now I'm up to like 25 impact points if she gets promoted. So I'm getting close to 30 actually, and I'm still confident that this resourceful goal will be fine. I'll be okay there. I don't know if scholarly is going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to gain more research, but I actually might be able to get synergistic instead. We'll see. But I've only got 6 discs left, and that's getting pretty tight. And so you know what? I'm going to unpromote my marine biologist, put the disc back on them. Instead, I am going to promote my mentor, because right now they get at least 5 points. If I have the free disc at the end, I will use this action to promote the marine biologist, but I'd rather guarantee 5 points than miss out on 6. But I'm looking around. I've got discs on 7 zones right now. If I could get a disc on one more zone, we'll say this one, just for argument's sake, and then move all 3 of my vessels to here, here, and here, for example, then I will be in 11 zones for synergistic. But that means I need to move a vessel to here, and that's activating a specialist. Activate another specialist to place a disc there, and then move, move, move. That is a lot of movement, and I just don't think I have that many movement actions. But you know what? Let's risk it. So what I could potentially do, if I move a vessel to here, and then I sonar to place a disc here, depth 3 or higher, I'll do depth 4 right here. And depending on what the discovery bonus is, or the potential arrival bonus of that tile, I might be able to pull something off, especially if I can gain more discs. So we will start with this naval architect, who will just do a move action. And I'm going to move this vessel away from here. 1, 2, 3, that's fine. Gain a research, which is good. And now I will have my hydrographer do a sonar action and a dive action. So they will sonar here to put a disc down, depth 3 or below. So we'll go depth 4. And do either of these help us? There's a disc there. That's probably going to be it between the brine pool and the continental shelf. Neither of these have an arrival bonus that'll give me discs, but that's something. I'm taking the continental shelf. And so that's going to advance my inspiration track, my ingenuity track. This is now at the 22 threshold I need between 12 and 10. And I gain a disc, critical, and now I need to place 4 dive tokens there. I don't expect I'll do any diving there, but there's another zone for me to go to anyway. So that was my sonar, and now I can do a dive action as well. So I will dive here, taking the last dive token from that spot, and let's see what kind of bonus this gets me. This could be critical. So we get either 3 research or a dive action. I don't have to decide right now. I'm going to hold on to that. So that was the hydrographer's turn. That was pretty good. So I've got discs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different zones, and then 1, 2, 3 vessels. If I can get all 3 vessels on 3 zones without discs, I'll hit synergistic. But I've only got 2 move actions in me, so I don't know how that's going to work. And I could potentially move this vessel to here and then spend this dive token on a new dive action and hope that it gives me one that allows me to move, because I know some of them have a move action on them. But if I do that, then I can't spend the 3 research, which would only get me to 4. I'd like to get to 6, but this is like a pathway to getting scholarly. So I'll kind of have to decide. I guess maybe I move there, I dive, and depending on what that token is, I'll decide at that time if I'm going to pursue synergistic or just go for scholarly. Scholarly is definitely within reach if I dive again. So I don't know, I might have some tough choices coming up here. I'm going to have my acoustics engineer do a movement. I'm going to move this vessel out of here because it's kind of trapped. I guess I could go here and dive from there. That would be better. All right, we'll go there. And so I gain an ingenuity. I will take it. That gives me another impact marker, and that's coming from my track. So right now I can only put it at depths 3 or 4. Is that what I want? I think that's fine. I'll put it... no, I'm going to take a bigger risk. I'm going to move this vessel instead. We'll put that one there. Gain the ingenuity. Impact at 3, 4, or 5. I'm going to put on 5. Go for more points. And now I will spend this dive token to take a dive action. Which one of these? Do I want a disc or do I want a whatever that is, a research? I think I want the research more. I'm going to take one of these, get up to 2 research, gain a new dive token, and this will kind of decide my fate one way or another. I might not get scholarly or synergistic because I prioritize these points over that one more research, but we'll see. We get 3 research or a disc. Oh my, oh my. What am I going to do with that? See, the 3 research will only get me up to 5. I would still need one more. And it doesn't look like there's anywhere I can really go to gain a research as an arrival bonus other than places I've already got discs. So synergistic is out, I think. Oh, wait. That's not in my hand. I was like, I could dive. No, I can't. Well, I'm going to promote using this action, promote my marine biologist now to get an extra point that way. And now all I'm looking to do is either place one more impact at depth 5 if I can find a way to do that, or because that'll get me enough points to get 30. Or what was the other thing I was hoping to do? Oh, advance both my coordination and ingenuity tracks because those got a little bit low. So I've got 2 actions left. How can I gain an impact and advance both of those tracks? Oh, you know what I'll do? Here, let me take this back. I am not going to promote the marine biologist. This is like the second time I've demoted them this way. They had a disc on them. I'm not going to do that. I've got a different way to do that. So giving up on synergistic, I'm going to, and probably on scholarly too, I'm going to spend this 3 research to go from 2 to 5. I'm spending the dive token on the research instead of a disc. And then I will, who's going to do this? I didn't think about that. Let's have the underwater photographer do a journal action here. This yellow journal, I'm going to take this one. And that cost me 3 research. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 2 left. And I gain 1 coordination, which I need. And then I can promote a specialist, marine biologist, for hopefully the last time, promote them, and then take out a new journal. Ooh, 0 cost, huh? Couple points. I need one of these tracks to go up one more time. I can take a dive action. I don't have enough discs to try and journal here and gain the 2 points. Oh, but I might be able to get scholarly. I can dive a couple times. So I'm going to take this dive action here, which has a special little icon on it. And it says dive and claim an additional dive token from that dive site if any remain. So I can dive twice at one of these locations. And oh man, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dive twice here and get to whatever these are, discs. Losing my mind. This is going to be wild. All right, diving twice. So I draw 2 tokens from the bag. I'll have to spend 1 immediately, but I might spend them both and get scholarly. We'll see if any of them have a move action, though. Let's see. That one has a move action. Oh my goodness. What is going to happen? All right. Well, I will spend this one right away on 3 research. 1, 2, 3. Man, I'm at 5. This is going to be so close to hitting everything. I am going to spend this one on a movement action. Trying to process this all. I'm going to take a movement and I'm going to go from here. 1, 2. Wait, no. I'm going to move this one. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. This loops around, gains me an impact from here, so I can do it at depth 1 or track 1, 4, or 5. So I will put my impact on depth or on track 4. Man, that's 1 point. That's going to be 1 research. I might be 1 point short, but I think that'll get me scholarly. And then, oh my goodness, though, my team leader is a promoted specialist. They're a senior specialist already. My brain's exploding. So I'm going to use this disc on my team leader. I'm going to do a movement from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gain a coordination, which gets this where it needs to be for resourceful and synergistic. And I think I'm done. I've got 1 disc left, and I think I'm done, and I think I've done it. And I've done it on camera, which is amazing. So that's it. That's the end of the round. I'm moving to scoring. Man, my adrenaline's up. This is awesome. All right, we already marked these 2 off. We knew we did these because they had time restrictions. So we discovered a depth 5 zone by the end of round 4. and we reached the floor. We sent a vessel to depth 5 by the end of round 5. So now let's evaluate journals. 1 point per journal disc at depths 4 and 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we needed 6. So that one's accomplished. Let me start marking these off now with my impact markers. Yes, yes, and yes. Now for the impact board, we need 30 points. I've got from journals 2, 4, 6. From my specialist, 1 point per senior specialist other than this one. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because the rulebook says your team leader starts as a senior specialist. So I've got 7 and 6. That puts me at 13. And then from the impact board, I've got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I have got 30 points. Mind is exploding. Synergistic. We need to have at least one disc or vessel on 11 different zones. We've got discs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then vessels 9, 10, and 11. We've done it. Resourceful, we need coordination and ingenuity to total up to 22. This is 10 and 12. That is 22 or higher. So we just barely got that one done. And finally, scholarly, 6 or more leftover research. We are at 6. So I have finally done it. I have achieved all 7 goals, and man, it is fitting that it happened on mission 10. And frankly, I feel I've redeemed myself from mission 9 for anyone who watched that. So, wow, what a great finale for this game. That was just absolutely incredible. My brain is really burning after that last round, but that was so much fun. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Looking forward to getting this released, and then looking forward for the Uncharted Waters expansion to finally hit later this year, and I will continue playing this game then. There's a lot of good stuff that I'm looking forward to in that box. But man, this was a cool playthrough. I'm going to post this one on BGG, so if you want to head over to BGG and watch it, you can leave a like over there as well, and some comments on Board Game Geek. That'd be cool. But for now, I'm riding high on my Mission 10 legendary victory. That is just super cool. So again, don't forget to share this video with anybody else who might enjoy it. Like and subscribe, and head over to my coffee page. It's always appreciated. Otherwise, I would be happy anytime to talk to you down in the comments. So I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed that too. Thank you so much for watching Table for One, and I will see you in the next video.